Hi, I'm Dot, and welcome to my cooking channel. I'm not a chef. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just someone who's lost about 145 pounds over the last 4 years and kept it off. I blog about my adventures in dieting and in all things related to my health over at my site, dottrot.com. But I thought for those of you who aren't familiar with my blog, it is just a little tiny blog. I talk a little bit about how I came to be focused on taking my health back. Um, so if you're anything like me, you may have struggled with your weight most of your adult life. I know that's my case for the last 25 years. It's been on and off trying to lose weight, and I've tried everything from the cabbage soup diet to the zone diet and everything in between. I think I've been a member of Weight Watchers on and off for about 6 or 7 different times during those 25 years. And pretty much I had the exact same experience with everything I tried. I would eat less, exercise more. I'd always count my calories, count my points. I can't even imagine how many miles I've logged on treadmills at gyms all across the state of Virginia, but I definitely have. Um, and the result was always the same, though. I'd lose weight, I hit a plateau, I double down and eat even less and exercise even more, lose a little bit more weight, but I was always hungry no matter what I did. I ate the 3 healthy meals a day and had the 2 healthy snacks. I still, no matter what, I was always hungry. And eventually I would just give in, go on a binge, and then I'd beat myself up over it and really call myself every name you can possibly imagine about what a failure I was. But nonetheless, I kept doing it over and over and over again for 25 years. And in that time period, my weight kept going up and up and up. It kept inching up. So something had to change. However, what I wasn't noticing, because I was so focused on the scale, was that little things were popping up related to my health that I knew there was a bit of a connection, but I didn't realize how much of a connection it was. I would have irregular periods. I was a chronic insomniac. It would be lucky if I got more than 4 hours of sleep a night. On and off back problems. I was always fatigued. I never had any energy. And then finally, 4 years ago, I walked into my doctor's office for a full-blown physical, and I got a bit of a surprise when that happened. Basically, I found out that I weighed 325 pounds, which scared the heck out of me. I never thought I was that heavy, but those of us who've been overweight all of our lives, do we ever think we're as heavy as we actually are? I also found out, I learned about something called metabolic syndrome. And basically, it's not a disease. It's a cluster of health conditions that basically cause a lot of diseases down the road. And the 5 criteria are high blood pressure. Well, I was already on high blood pressure medication, so I had that. The size of your amount of belly fat. If your belly is bigger than your waist, that's one of the problem areas. Well, my abdominal area measured about 58 inches. So yeah, I definitely had that in spades. You have low HDL, which is the good cholesterol. Well, mine was rock bottom. I had extremely low HDL cholesterol. Your triglycerides are extremely high. Well, mine were high. And the other cluster is high blood sugar. Well, as I found out, my blood sugar was actually at the point where I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic. So of the 5 clusters, if you have 3 out of the 5, you're considered to have metabolic syndrome. I had 5. I was 5 for 5. So clearly I was in bad shape. So I had a long conversation with my doctor. He really took the time with me. But what it was all about, he pretty much laid down the law. He estimated in 3 years, I'd be a full-blown diabetic and on medication. I was also a candidate for heart disease and strokes. I walked into my doctor's office that morning and I was in my early 40s. However, after that meeting, what was made very clear to me, physically, I was basically someone who was in their mid 70s. Physically, I was the age of my parents. So something had to change. What my doctor didn't know at the time when we were going through my physical, and I didn't know, was that since I was metabolically damaged or I had metabolic issues, was that a disease actually had taken root years before because I'd been so overweight and just not healthy for such a long period of time. Now, our bodies have anywhere from 50 to 75 trillion cells within them. Um, And sometimes you have cells that just get damaged, and a healthy person, their bodies can fix those cells, or they basically, if they can't be fixed, they get rid of them because damaged cells are not a good thing. Your body doesn't want them. What essentially happened was those cells became damaged. They eventually became abnormal, and when you have abnormal cells, what they do is they don't die. They become what doctors call immortal, because all cells have a lifespan, but these cells don't. And what happens is they grow and they multiply over a long period of time. It's nothing that takes place quickly, and they eventually become cancerous. And this year, I was diagnosed with uterine cancer. The signs were there that there could have been something wrong, which was my irregular periods. And if you're overweight and you're experiencing these problems, this is something you really got to watch out for. And that's why changing your lifestyle around is so important. You really can't wait on something like that. Now, thankfully for me, I had a great team of doctors. I've just finished up my radiation treatment, and right now everything looks great. But this is something I now have to watch for the next 5 years. But this is all because my metabolic system had been damaged and my body wasn't acting appropriately as it needed to. Now, the best thing my doctor told me during that meeting was he basically suggested I don't focus on exercise, which shocked me. He said, don't worry about that. He wanted me to get my nutrition under control. But most importantly, he said I needed to make some serious lifestyle changes. And, I'd been so focused on the scale and what that stupid little number said. I always, for whatever reason, I always looked at weight loss as a straight line. I never really thought of it as you have good days, you have bad days. Your body can, may want to give up the weight. Some days can give up 10 pounds or whatever when you're early on. And then some days it may only give up, like a half a pound, or you may gain weight when when you think you've done everything perfectly. Your body just doesn't behave that way. It's not a straight line. So when I started thinking about, okay, lifestyle, had to take a hard look at my life and how I was living. And the truth was I was miserable. I used to be athletic when I was younger. I played volleyball, baseball, football, all with my brothers. I was on the basketball team or the county basketball team. I always rode my bike everywhere. I walked everywhere, but I was basically working 17 hours a day, sitting in a desk or in a meeting at a job I just stopped caring about. So that wasn't a very good thing. And also, when you're in a job like that, chained to a desk, you're more likely to go to the vending machine. You need that, some caffeine for a quick pick-me-up because you're having that afternoon crash. So that was a problem. I also realized I wasn't putting myself first. Everything else, my job, my family, pets, friends, everything else in my life was coming ahead of my health, and that had to change. And then I had to take a hard look at how I was eating. And although I was trying to do everything right with, low fat diet or a low fat diet and trying to follow everything based on what the experts recommend as a healthy diet, I realized calories in, calories out, eat less, move more, didn't do jack for me. It made me hungry. I wasn't getting satisfied with the food I was eating, and all it did was make me fatter. So knowing those little things and recognizing I knew nothing about nutrition, I had to start doing my own research because nobody was going to lose the weight for me. No one was going to get healthy for me. I had to do everything myself. So yes, I talked to my doctor about different things. I read a lot of books, went online and, asked the Google everything I needed to sort of consider. I looked at vegan diets, vegetarian diets, um, anything out there that could help me as far as get healthy again. And what I stumbled across was a book that changed my life. And actually, it didn't really change it, it saved it. And that was Why We Get Fat by Gary Taubes. And that book just so clearly laid out why the whole idea of calories in, calories out, a calorie is just a calorie, all the little things that we've always hear about or read about in the magazines or see on the news really doesn't apply. Because if you look at it, if you look at 50 grams of broccoli versus 50 grams of Coca-Cola, well, it's the same amount, right? Well, then your body would respond exactly the same, but it doesn't. Different types of foods have different type of metabolic pathways and how you process them. So once I started understanding the science, that's what clicked it for me. I always used to only think about, well, what do I need to eat? Just tell me what I need to eat and then I'll lose the weight, right? That's not the way it worked because all of us are very different. So, what I started embarking on was a low carb, high fat lifestyle. And what that meant was eating as much as possible real foods, getting away from the processed foods, getting away from sugary foods or any foods with added sugar, and just really focusing on how do I create delicious meals in my home. And like I said, I'm not a chef, but how do I make meals that my husband and I would really enjoy? And at the same time, that would help me get my health back. And that's what this channel is focused on. If you are interested more in like habits that I did to actually, good habits I incorporated in my nutrition and in my exercise routine and becoming more active, my blog, dottotrot.com, has that type of information. But here, what I really want to focus it on is just everyday meals that I make. This is the type of foods that I make to get healthy. And this is how I lost the 145 pounds and kept it off. I'm still, working towards my, few pounds I want to get off and get at my goal weight. But again, like I said, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a professional chef. I've just lost the weight. I put in the work and lost the weight. And all I want to do is share the information with you. It may work for you. It may not work for you, but I'm hoping the recipes and dishes that I make will inspire you to get really creative in the kitchen and stop eating out, and stop buying processed junk that's out there, because that's just not healthy for anybody, regardless of what diet you're on. So I've never been healthier in my entire life. Yes, I lost 145 pounds. And that's a great side benefit of how I've been eating. But the real true story is I'm no longer taking blood pressure medications. I'm no longer at risk for being a type 2 diabetic. The idea of having a stroke or heart attack are completely out the window. In fact, one of the things that I found out, once I started, eating this way was instead of having a body of a 70-year-old or 75-year-old, I'm now someone who's in their mid 40s and metabolically I'm 35 years old. Yeah, I've got the cancer, but you know what? The way I'm eating is what's really going to help me battle it. The other thing, what I'm finding is I have way more energy. I'm way more active in my life. I'm doing the things that I want to do. I'm doing 5K races. I'm working my way up to train for a 10K and eventually to do a marathon. I've done mud races. I've been cycling. I've been hiking up in mountains. I'm doing all the things that I love to do, and I'm finally living the life I want to live. I'm no longer letting my weight or my health hold me back. The fact that I can walk to my mailbox without being in pain or being out of breath is a huge win. And the weight, like I said, is a side benefit. It really is about eating right, eating the foods that are going to make you feel good and turn your health around. And I'm hoping that's what I can do with this channel, just a little bit, is to help inspire you.